Hey, it's Brian and Chris here from Resolve Technology. And Chris wants to show us some stuff, his new graphics card. It's an NVIDIA graphics card that he's got on his machine. And he's been messing around with something called ChatRTX, which is an AI built-in, piece of software attached that he plugs into the graphics card. I don't know much about it, but Chris does. Chris, can you shed some light on this for us?
Yeah, so ChatRTX is leveraging the RTX technology and NVIDIA graphics in RTX 30 series and 40 series graphics card. It's an AI model designed to facilitate real-time communication. So like ChatGPT like stuff, searching through documents for something. What else do we got here? The other big thing is it's not in the cloud. So this is all local data. So for example, if you see where it installed on my machine, I just left the default here, but I got this data set folder. And in here, you can see this technical readiness PDF. So if I open this is a Copilot, something about Copilot, and we can just use this as a basic example. You'll see it's a PowerPoint, but RTX Chat only uses text, PDF, doc, and docx files are supported currently. So I made it a PDF, this technical readiness guide. And as an example, we can go, hey, give me the top 5 points of the technical readiness for Copilot PDF document. So it can search your system, whatever data set, whether you have images in there, documents.
So long as it's in that folder path, it's got to be in that data set folder.
Right. And you can change this. You can change the folder path to wherever you want. But there's also different models. By default, it uses this Mistral 7B Int 4. I also, you can, if you choose the other one, you can download, it gives you an option to download, accept the license.
What is Clip used for?
So for that, let me go here. So that main one I told you, Mistral, is designed for generative tasks, focusing on high quality text and image efficiency. It's tailored more for low latency and high throughput, if that's important to you.
Then so you like general purpose AI, right?
Yes. And then you have Clip, which is, it stands for contrastive language image pre-training. It's a different type of model that bridges visual textual data. It's trained to understand and classify images by examining and comparing them to textual descriptions. So image-based tasks such as classification, detection, and more nuanced like interpretation of certain images, and then like putting that in a text format.
Do you have an image in the data set?
I did.
Huh?
It's just our logo though. I guess I can.
Yeah, just kind of show how it would work with our logo.
It is a PNG though. We might have to take a look at that. Yeah, PNG.
Do you need the exact name? Oh, weird.
I haven't played around.
Sorry to put you on the spot with that one, but
yeah, I got to look into that more. And then there's also ChatGLM 36B Int 4, and it's for conversational AI tasks, contextual and nuanced responses and chatbot applications. That's more of your ChatGPT like functionality. And it's similar to that Mistral one. But so like you can see these weird names, they all represent something. Like Mistral 7B, there's 7 billion parameters. And then that Chat 6B, there's 6 billion. And then the Int 4, I believe, is for 4-bit integer quantization for help deploying model on platforms, minimizing memory and processing requirements.
Can you just hit the drop down again so we can see the different AI models that you were able to plug in? Okay. Now, did you have a chance to mess with the Chat GLM?
So it's all kind. So this one, you can ask it the same thing. Give me a detailed explanation. Enable it list.
Okay, so that one might be a little bit faster. That was a pretty quick list of information.
Yeah, so the graphics card in my work computer is a 30 series mid-range card, whereas the computer I use at home is the 4090, the Big Daddy one. So like this one might be quicker because it's minimizing memory and processing requirements. For example, my higher end card is much more memory, VRAM. It's a much more powerful card.
So the card that you're running right now, showing us right now,
is an RTX 3070.
What is it?
An RTX 3070 by NVIDIA. And then I have the 4090. So I mean, you can look up the specs of both if you wanted to.
No, I was just curious, like if somebody's watching this, like what does the lower end card go for typically?
It was 600 new at the time it released
Okay.
versus 15 to 1600. Let me bring up here, there's the specs. I can show you what's required. So if we bring this up, so this is their website here. It's not a demo app anymore, but for system requirements, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 30 or 40 series GPU, Ampere or Ada, so that's the 30 series or 40 series, and it needs at least 8 gigs of VRAM on the card. You must have 16 gigs of DDR4 or 5 memory, Windows 11. You must be on this NVIDIA driver or later, and you need to be able to store 12 gigs of data. And that's only with the main model, or I think that's with all models. They're the file size.
Okay, that's not too bad. And then they also have a user guide and things to how to set it up, I would imagine.
Yeah, installation tip, and it defaults, and it contains a bunch of GeForce news articles, and you can ask it questions, similar to how we put that Copilot PDF in there. If you go back to this directory, you see all these text files. If we open one of them up.
So the way we're envisioning maybe testing this out and potentially using this on some documentation, because we don't have to worry about it getting pushed up into the cloud and like sensitive information getting pushed up, because
as long as it's in a secure environment, which in this case, it's on a BitLocker encrypted drive on a local computer with the antivirus and certain firewall policies, VLANing it off from the rest of the network. So it's fairly locked down compared to just something sitting in a cloud chat.
So potentially, like, this might be an option for a smaller business if they just, like, I can envision us setting up a separate computer for them that's just for processing things like this, right? And you can even maybe remote desktop into it or whatever. People can remote into it.
So
Like a kiosk machine.
let's see how much. So I think this is 8 gigs here. We're going for about 610, or you buy a used one. I don't know yet if it's so. Like if you already have CAD machines that may have these cards, you could use their existing. You know what I mean? They might be able to use an existing computer there.
So, for example, like clients that we work with, professional service firms like engineering, construction, manufacturing, you may have CAD systems that have the equivalent graphics card, is what Chris is saying.
And then also it can generate images. Well, they all can. So we generated some images here trying to include our logo and random AI pictures. Let me open them all here. You can see it's not perfect. So this wasn't all done with only RTX chat there, but you can see like we had this one, I believe was ChatGPT, and it spelt our Resolve logo. It didn't, and then it put Resolve technology in the bottom. That's not, our logo looks different than that. And then we got this one generated, it misspelled Resolve. So that, you know, GPT-4, Copilot, they're not all perfect yet. They are prone to error. You see, it didn't spell webinar right. And then AI, I don't know why RTX had, maybe because it saw the brain picture, the AI one. This one was probably the closest, but I don't know what adding AI Tinani to, and then it's misspelled, or is that technology? Yeah, technology. So there's error prone. It's not perfect, but it is cool that it can take multiple images, right? And kind of mix something together.
Right. Well, so if you have somebody in-house that knows how to use like a Canva or some other type of, or Adobe Photoshop or whatever, they can just take pieces of it and then turn it into their own creation.
Right. And one thing to keep in mind with this is, you know, AI is certainly pushing the boundaries on this, is like AI generated articles, students using it for documents, or taking copyright. So like taking the NVIDIA logo, taking our business logo, you got to be aware of certain copyright material. You know what I mean? So it is definitely, I mean, you see a lot of things right now with AI generated music using your favorite musician or artist's voice. So that's just something to be aware of when using these tools. Companies really should have an AI policy, and I think we've mentioned that on previous videos.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's some uncharted areas, but I really do like this idea of having a local AI, and also the fact that hopefully it'll support more formats going forward, but you can convert a lot of stuff to PDF. So the fact that it accepts PDF, if you want to have it analyze some of your documents and take some of that information out of those PDFs quickly, this is a really useful tool for that. So
yes. So also, the one thing to note is I believe you can make your own large language model, the LLM there. So you can make your own models with this. Let me just confirm that real quick here in my little note. I know it includes the models, but I'm pretty sure, at least at some point, it's going to allow you to do such things. Yeah, so the language model used by ChatRTX is a deep learning model that has been trained on a large data set of 3D content, understands structure and properties of 3D objects. And I thought I read it somewhere, so I might be misspeaking here, but I thought you'd be able to create your own sort of language models. And I mean, you see like these customizations are already happening with the cloud-based, like ChatGPT or Copilot. You got custom GPTs now. Like if we, let me see if I can find it here. If I go to ChatGPT, you can see like GPT Oracle for Windows System Administrator, image generator, and Copilot does the same thing here, which is built into Windows now. I mean, you got Copilot now built into Windows, which is just using OpenAI's GPT. I think it's GPT-4 under the hood.
Basically, it's going to be built into just about every device you use soon. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is just, to me, is an inexpensive way, because you don't have the monthly fees and stuff like we were paying for the ChatGPT, to just containerize it and keep it local. Just like those people we work with, small businesses and stuff, they don't always want everything in the cloud. They want some things on premise. And this is a nice way to do it, I think.
Another way to, if you do have, so this is a little technical, but generally on-premise equipment, you virtualize certain servers, and there's one physical host running multiple servers. In Hyper-V, things like Proxmox or even VMware ESXi, you can pass through a graphics card to a virtual machine. So if you really wanted to lock this down and get all fancy, I haven't tested it. I don't know if, but I know you can take an NVIDIA card or any card for that matter, pass it through to the virtual machine. So the virtual machine can leverage the capabilities of the card. There might be a performance hit when you do that, but, and then you could run, so you know what I mean? You could run this in some isolated virtual environment, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I see that going in that direction too. But pretty soon, I don't know, Windows 12, whenever, if there is a Windows 12 and when that comes out, I'm sure it's going to be just like you talk to Siri on your phone or an Alexa on your Amazon IoT app. That's kind of what they were doing with Cortana that they killed off a while ago. Pretty soon, you're just going to be talking and it's going to be looking through your documents folder. You tell it to go to your downloads folder and delete files. I wouldn't be surprised if that's down the pipeline in the near future.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Chris, thanks for showing us that.
Yep, have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.